And so he's standing like a foot behind me, and they're like, "Oh, do you want to take your picture with him?" Mind you, every single person there took a picture with him. I go, "Nah, I'm good."
You can go ahead and get excited now.
All right, guys, we're here for Ain't Chit podcast. We're here with our first guest of our podcast, Tom Kolchewski. I think I said that right, Tom?
You got Tom right, but the rest, Kolchewski.
I've always said Kolchewski in my head.
That's all right. Good enough. I've been called a lot worse.
It's Kolchewski?
Kolchewski. Yeah.
All right. I was close. I think I was
There we
close.
go. Yeah, this is exciting. Appreciate it. I mean, we've been talking about getting somebody on just to, shoot the crap with us a bit. And your name was always up there, so we appreciate that you came on. We've always always appreciated you and felt like you were always a hobby friend for quite
Thank
some
you.
time. So
Yeah, I feel the same as you guys. I was trying to find my Breakers Club shirt.
still have that one?
Yeah, I thought I did. And I asked my son. My son Trent's 16 now, and I described it to him. He goes, "Oh yeah, that shirt's cool. I got it somewhere." I'm like, ah.
It's all good. We can always send you another one.
All right.
Yeah,
Probably a size bigger now.
How old? He's 16 now?
Yeah, he's 16.
Oh,
He's a monster. Yeah. I mean, I used to bring him to the National. He'd sit in the corner and play an iPad just so he didn't get in trouble. Now he's out flipping cards. So it's pretty
That's
awesome.
amazing.
Now you got a
that's
runner.
awesome.
You got a runner now.
No, now he does his own thing.
Oh,
Kidding me?
awesome. Even
Oh,
better.
nice.
Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I have 4 kids. My 2 daughters are they go to shows with me now in 11. And actually at Fanatics Fest coming up, they're going to be working the Tops booth. I got them to kind of be like interns for the week with the Tops marketing team. So that'll be pretty cool.
Wow, that's
That's
cool.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. So
A family affair. That's cool.
just a quick, I know we've spoken to Tom already, but quick intro. Tom is the co-owner. Correct me if I'm wrong. At any time, whenever you like. Co-owner of Real Breaks, which is a break group that started on Facebook. I would say probably a good 7 to 8 years ago, because that's when we were breaking.
Yeah,
And
2016.
So almost 10 years ago. Tom started his group along with another gentleman, Ryan Holland. I think you guys have 2 stores now.
Yeah, we have Wisconsin and then Champlin, Minnesota, and then Ryan's open a 3rd in Blaine, Minnesota later this year.
When's the Jersey one coming, man?
I don't know. You guys don't let plastic bags in. That's one of the things.
I think it's okay now, isn't it? I thought it got lifted.
I think you can buy plastic bags. You can just get
Okay.
You can
That's
make real
weird.
break
Who knows?
tote bags.
We use those. Yeah, we had those like the little drawstring bags. We gave those out for Halloween this year.
Nice.
nice. So Tom's been in the hobby for quite a while, probably longer than we have, Bruno. I know that we kind of started doing our thing, and Tom was hopping into breaks with us, right? We were doing breaks, and
Yep.
Tom was hopping in and buying teams and stuff. And that's how we kind of created our relationship. So yeah, almost a good 10 years ago, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, you think about those. I call it the old Facebook days when
Mm-hmm.
I could probably think of like a dozen different break groups that are starting out, and some are still around, some are long gone. But it was like anything, it was pre-COVID, so before all the craziness, and you just became good friends with people, and that's what it's about. That's what to me what collecting anything is about relationships.
Absolutely, and Tom and Ryan are killing it right now. They have their Facebook group Real Breaks. They have an app, which is insane. The way they started their app, something Bruno and I always talked about in the past, and we're like, damn, we didn't capitalize on this thing, and people did. But you guys do a really good job with your app, and the way you guys set it up, and I think it's probably the best app. And I know there's Whatnot, and there's all these other apps that you can get into breaks. But you guys keep it real tight with your community, and do a really good job of putting product out. And something I always appreciate. I jump in all the time. Tom, you can vouch for me because I do.
Yep.
and it's a really good platform to get into real good breaks. Really honest breaks. What you get is what you're going to get sent to your house, and part of the reason why we wanted to have you on is kind of for that, right? It's to kind of talk about your platform, and also kind of just to shoot the shit, right? Just kind of just talk about sports and sports cards and anything else we want to talk about, right?
Sure.
So that's why we asked you to come on board and kind of just have do this podcast with us today. So I think we'll have a couple of questions. For the most part, we'll probably talk about the things that we talk about, and we'll go from there. So I'll leave it to Bruno.
Sounds good.
Whatever you want to start with, man.
Phenomenal job. But let's in line with the breaks right now. Kevin had mentioned something. You gotta. Now I didn't look into it because I wanted to hear it from you. It's one of our topics, the Cheetos-ard. Are you guys breaking Cheetos bags?
Is it PYC?
All right. First of all,
How much is a spot for, and how many grams?
so all right. So I'm going to rewind for a second. So Kevin's right. We started on Facebook Real Breaks. Okay. We developed an app, and we did call it Uncommon, and then we actually settled on our name, and we're I love that you call me Real Breaks because that means you're old school. You've been with us. We've migrated to Real Sportscards.
Right.
And the reason that is so we can do things like Cheetos, right? So
no, my fault.
But,
You're right. It's Real Sports Cards. I still have Real Breaks in my head.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. That's cool. That's old school. But the reason is because we knew we wanted to open card shops, right? And that's why. And it's just easier that way. So the Real Sports Card app, it's on the Google and Apple Play Store. Check it out. Download it, have some fun. Yeah. So we break baseball, football, basketball, Pokemon, hockey, and Cheetos. So our Minnesota crew, if you guys know Emil, I know Kevin, Bruno does.
Yep.
He's hilarious, right?
Yeah.
And they had this idea. You should see the ideas that we don't do, right? So this one, they told me, like, hey, we got this idea. I'm like, all right. They're like, I think we're going to do it. We're going to get like 40 mini bags of Cheetos and 20 Flaming Hot and 20 regular. Then we're going to sell them as spots. And then we'll open them, and then if there's any like shapes or anything that we can identify, we'll put them in a little case. And if they're not, then Emil has to eat them all. And if he pukes, and it's not a matter of if he pukes, when he pukes, everyone gets a refund. And I just said, "You are crazy. This is ridiculous." They're like, "Yeah, it's April 1st, April Fool's Day." I'm like, "Oh, all right." So on April Fool's Day, the Minnesota crew, Abel did it. And yes, he did puke, not on camera, thank God. He went off camera. And afterwards, I'm like, so when's the next time you're going to have a Cheetos? He's like, never. So, but there's $4 for regular, $6 for Flaming Hot. And it was hilarious. The minute it posted, we had people buying 10 spots. And then people were mad they couldn't buy more. And it's like, oh, my Lord. So they pulled some. They did a lot of fun social media about it. And actually, one just ended on eBay. The one that they said was looked like Han Solo blaster, and it's like $10.
So this whole thing started because of the Cheetos-ard, right?
Yeah,
Cheetos-ard that sold on was it Golden or something?
Like Golden, yeah.
What's it, 80K?
Yeah. 80 grand or 80 or 90 grand, something like that.
How insane is that?
Unbelievable.
When I told Bruno about it, I'm like, dude, like we have to ask Tom about it because this is fantastic. The fact that we're ripping Cheetos.
We had a lot of people think it was serious. I mean, people did pay for the spots, and they just got a refund. Right? Who cares? But a lot of the people that bought a ton of spots were like friends of ours, and they could care less. I mean, I would have donated $4 to I don't care. So.
Just to watch him puke.
And that's what I was.
Yeah, but
like me too. I would have probably gotten in. I couldn't because it was always full every time I checked.
Well, people were asking, "Are you going to do another?" I'm like, "Yeah, run it back."
Look.
It took forever. It's hilarious. But
and orange for this specifically, by the way.
I do appreciate that. Yeah, that was good. I mean, we got like serious questions. Be like, really, is this what it's become? Is this what? I'm like, come on, it's April 1st. Like,
yeah.
Even if it wasn't April 1st, I mean, Come on, really?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
it's
you
be
can't
fun.
just have fun? Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. It's, Tuesday afternoon. Heaven
Yeah.
forbid, you have fun with the hobby. So
Yeah.
And I love
yeah,
how Emil dressed up with the Cheetos costume. Yeah,
yeah.
that was great.
Yeah, did you
He
see that
dressed
Saturday
up.
Night Live skit with Jack Black, the Cheeto Man, the
No, I
Preparation H
didn't.
on this Saturday?
I never
Yeah,
saw
so
that.
I watched it yesterday on YouTube, and I sent Emil a link.
Oh, I gotta
That's
So he
watch that.
hilarious.
dressed up as Chester Cheeto. Is that what it
Yeah,
was?
he wore a costume. He had
Yep.
a full body costume of Chester Cheeto.
Yeah, but you
That's
know what? You got to
hilarious.
keep it light, man. And I thought that was awesome. And I thought that
Yeah,
if
I mean, this is the
whoever
same
didn't
guy.
understand it, whoever didn't get the rib, shame on them, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But at the
You
same
gotta,
time, even if it wasn't April Fool's and you did something like that, it's like, oh, this is whatever money we get from the breaks goes to like the Boy Scouts or something,
yeah,
or the softball league, or
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was funny. It was funny. So, yep. So, yeah. They broke Cheetos. So, I don't think my stomach could have handled 3 bags of Cheetos.
Nah, good job with that, man. I thought that was hilarious, and that's why I had to share it
Yeah,
with Bruno.
that's awesome. It's awesome. So,
Yes.
yeah, if you're gonna be known for something, be known for that.
That's
But you know what's
amazing.
funny though? People always ask me about, oh, what's the biggest card you ever pull? I don't know, like Cheetos. It's kind of more fun. I can tell you about cards we pulled for people and how excited they got, or a guy, you have a friend, someone's chasing something and you hit it, and that beats a $10,000 card any day of the week. But
For sure, man.
yeah, it's
For
absolutely.
sure.
I
yeah,
always get
it's
stumped with that question too, because you get asked once in a while, and I'm the same way. If they ask what's the biggest, I really don't know. I have no idea.
yeah.
But it's true. You remember some of the moments,
Hmm.
whether it's you yourself and how you react, or how somebody else reacts. That's what's special about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't tell you that either. It's weird.
Yeah, I do remember the first time I saw a card I pulled at a card show, like in a case for like it was a Glaber Torres Bowman's Best Superfractor when he was really hot.
Oh Lord,
I remember I pulled it in the like fall or Bowman's Best December,
right?
and then the next summer at the National, I saw it in a dealer's case at the card show. I thought that was really cool.
That's
Cool.
cool.
So yeah, but speak and I don't want I don't want to go way off subject, but
No,
only
feel
back.
free. Feel free.
Yeah, so the question I was getting is what's the biggest card? But without a doubt, the most memorable card for me was 2018 Ginter when we talk a little bit about my son. So we have 4 kids, and our youngest is Malik, who's born in 2016, and he's the reason we started breaking. And we can go into that, but Malik happens to have Down syndrome, and so 2018 Ginter, if you remember, Jock Peterson's older brother Champ Peterson was in it, and our son Malik's, was 1.5 at the time. We're dealing with a lot of health issues, and so I'm sitting there breaking cards, and you pull an autograph of Champ Peterson, and I'll be honest, going into it, I had no idea who Champ Peterson was because Ginter, right? You see the checklist, you're like, who are these
Right.
people? Champ Peterson happens to have Down syndrome, and he's become famous being Jock's brother. And pulling that card with that autograph on it, I don't know if I broke down. I definitely broke down after the break, but it kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. And the guy that had that spot, he's like, well, just let me know how much money you're going to send me for this card, because without a question, you're buying that card. And it's still one of my favorite. It's probably, I would say, top 5 favorite cards in my collection still. And of course, like any collector, I went and I bought every variation of that card since. But that base auto is definitely the most memorable pull I've ever had. So that's pretty cool.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
so-
Yeah, great story.
But yeah, when Kevin was talking about our start in 2016, that's another people always like, well, how do you get started? You just hate your job, or you get asked all kinds of ridiculous things. But I met Ryan on a Facebook group, like a buy sell trade Facebook group. I used to go to shows, set up at shows, or what I was really good at, I would go to shows and buy vintage and grade. Back when PSA was like $5 a card, and you could buy a $10 card, grade it, and then sell it for 40. I would do that, and then when my wife was pregnant with Malik's, so he was born November 2nd, the day the Cubs won the World Series, which was awesome. If
That's
you're, we're
insane.
huge Cubs fans here. So
I
I
can't tell
lost
by
on
the
his
Mark
name.
Race jersey in your background.
Yeah, you like that? I thought I'm like, where do I sit? I'm like, in front of the Gracie jersey. But yeah, so I wanted his name to be Rizzo, but it's Malix, and yeah, so he was born in really complicated birth, very very complicated birth, and you guys will appreciate this. Some people do not appreciate this. Is he was C-section, scheduled C-section for November 2nd, and I'm like, I'm looking at the schedule. It's a couple weeks in advance. Like, it's Game 7 of the World Series. I'm like, that'd be kind of fun. Well, so my wife's water broke during Game 6, and we had about a 45-minute drive because we had to go to a big special hospital in Madison. A 45-minute drive to get there for this C-section. So we get there, and I didn't want to leave. It's like Addison Russell just hit this big home run. The Cubs are coming back. I mean, this is Cubs World Series. This is it for me. So we get there, and my wife's in the C-section, and all this stuff, and I'm in the hallway, you're pacing, and tons of doctors, and we didn't know with Malix, he has Down syndrome, but also crazy, crazy heart defect. So we didn't know if he had lived the birth, right? That was a big one. We didn't know if his heart would be fully in his chest, like who knew, right? And so he's born, and the nurse comes out, and it's like she comes out like a couple minutes after midnight. So you're not sure, is he born the first or the second, right? That matters as a Cubs fan. That really, really matters. And so the nurse comes out, and she goes, "Hey, your baby is born. He's doing really good. He's doing the best we could expect this." And I go, "Good. What time was he born?" And she looks at me, says, "What? Are you on drugs?" Like, I can just see her, like, your wife. And she goes, "Your wife's going to do well. She's did well." Okay. What time was he born? So she's like, "Why does it matter?" And I go, "Because if he was born at midnight or afterwards and the Cubs win tonight, he was born the day the Cubs won the World Series." So she came back. You could tell she did not like this question. She goes in there. She comes back. She goes, 12:02. Are you happy? I said, "Yes, I'm very, very happy. Thank you."
That's great.
Yeah. So Mal was born in November, and then and that's why we started the break group, because we knew if he had survived birth, that's a big if, and he did, obviously. He had a long road ahead with heart surgeries and things like that, and we didn't make enough money, my wife and I, for one of us to work. We had to have a supplemental income. So she was a school counselor, and I was school buildings and grounds director at a small school district. And so then she took off of work, when he was born. And so I started opening cards, and my goal was basically to make $100 to $150 a week to pay for groceries. That was the goal. And then we had a lot of other expenses with it, and so I just worked all the time. I just like broke all the time. And it was therapy for me, because so Malix had surgery on January 25th. That's crazy surgery. It's in the hospital for a long time after that. But you would go to work, you would go there, and while you're there, I mean, you're just sitting in sitting in the room, and your kid's unconscious with literally his chest was open.
Brutal.
There's all the swelling. You could see the heart forever, and it was wild.
Brutal.
And I would just be on my phone posting breaks to go home and rip at like 11 o'clock that night. And that was really good therapy for me. Some of my funniest breaks is just sitting there telling crazy stories about the hospital, because that was how I got through life. And so we helped pay the bills, and then it just kept going gangbusters. And then yada yada yada. 2018, I quit my job, and we moved in the town we're in now. We moved into an apartment. We had 4 kids, 3-bedroom apartment, and we had 2 dogs, which we still have. And so my wife and I and our baby Malix was in one room. The 3 kids shared the master room, and the other bedroom was the brakes business. And we did that for about a year, and then we moved into the house we're in now. So it's gone crazy. It really has, and it keeps growing. We talk about Minnesota opening another store, the app going on, and it's just push to do more. And it's been a fun ride. And I was talking to my accountant today. It's like, when are you guys going to slow down? I'm like, that's boring. Like, let's go. So yeah. So there's a little history on the Real Sports Cards.
I
I'm
love it.
sure you guys been in those breaks. You probably heard some wacko stories about hospitals and things like that. So it's pretty fun.
I mean,
Yeah.
look, man, I love it. The fact that Bruno and I started back in 2016 as well, and the fact that we know people that have made it. We never really pressed with breaks as probably as hard as we should have, but we just love seeing good stories like yours because it just good people deserve that, right?
Well,
Because
thanks.
2020, 2021, we started seeing everybody come out of the woodwork with breaks and stuff, and we started seeing not so people that aren't so kosher when it comes to breaking and stuff like that.
No,
For lack of a for lack of a better word, but just seeing people like you, man, like we love it, and that's why I support you. That's why we support you. We wanted to have you on because it's a great story, and it goes to show how how breaks really started, man. Because nobody back then was making hundreds of thousands of dollars, right off the rip breaking cards, right? If you built up to where you're at now, Tom, like what you guys are doing with real sports cards. Hope I got that right this time. It's just great to see because you guys deserve it, and
thank you.
I think Bruno and Sergio. I don't think Sergio really. He's not a big baseball guy, so he's probably more on the football end. But he's, just us seeing that. It's heartwarming, man, because we know everybody. We know a lot of the guys that started at the same time as us, and it's just cool to see, dude. It's really
Yep,
cool to
yep.
see.
It's inspiring. It's
Very
inspiring.
inspiring. Very
You
inspiring.
just like one of my biggest things is so Kevin and Bruno know I just recently bought a home. And I was lucky enough to con my girlfriend into letting me have a memorabilia card room, which I'm in right now. And it's like you come home from work and you just want to get away from things. You don't want to talk to anybody, or you just come in here and you just look at your cards. You hop on eBay, start comping things. Before you know it, it's midnight. It's
Hmm.
therapeutic. You
It
just
is.
come in here and it's not just about it's the distraction from life. And I'm
Yep.
sure you realized as you started breaking, that was your distraction. Telling the stories of what happened the day in the hospital and
Hmm.
breaking, kind of shooting the crap with everybody.
Yep. Yeah, and kind of years, after the breaks, and it literally was in our basement. It was at a workbench. I still have the stool as like a little memory. I had this like four-legged, this is like the worst stool in the history, and I used to break on this stool and lean it over, but I kept the stool. I'm like, I'll never get rid of that thing. But yeah, I told people, you gotta to be a good breaker. You just in the way our culture and our reflection is just like hanging out with your buddies, ripping cards. And we one time we were called the Mister Rogers of breaking as like a slam, and I'm like, that you wear that, you call me that, and Mister Rogers did pretty well, and I'll take that any day. And we have we Kevin talked about Ryan Holland, our business partner. Ryan is one of the smartest people. I hope he doesn't listen to it. He's one of the smartest persons I know, and he's kind of in our company. Even though we're both owners, he's really the CEO type guy, more the operations guy, and we work well. And we challenge each other all the time, but we do like a corporate meeting, and I don't want to roll my eyes, but it's very structured. It's really really good about pushing growth, and we had it in January, and we talked about at the end of the day, what are we doing here? And we tried to make goals this year that had nothing to do with revenue. Because the thing is, if you do revenue goals in this business, I mean, it can go out, it's really misleading. Prism football, if you're selling it back for, $1,500 a box, well, honestly, I'd rather sell Prism football for $300 a box. It's a lot easier to sell. And so you can't really look at revenue. And so we're like, well, what's the point? And we talked about like we first started, what is the attitude? And someone said, well, it's like you guys were just always with your friends. I'm like, well, yeah. And so we took this a step further and saying like, and this isn't like a public slogan, but it's more of an internal thing that you can always reflect on. And it's a little goofy, a little thing, but we go back to the idea of collecting friends. And what that means is if you're the sorter, when you're sorting cards and you're sorting Heritage High Number and you see Paul Skeen's base card, that should go in a penny sleeve and probably a top loader, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're opening a box with your friends, that's what you're going to do.
Hmm.
That's what you're gonna do. And so it gives our employees kind of not an out, right? But a reason to spend that extra money, spend that extra time, because what would you do with your friend, right? And so we had a guy today, he had a really good card last night in a break, and he wanted to pick it up, and he just happened. He's a semi driver. He happened to be there, so someone had, we needed to stay around for an extra hour. Well, that's what you would do for your friend, right? You'd stay for that. So some other people are in a hurry. I said, I'll stay. Like that's what you would do. And so if you, no matter how big you get, how many stores you open, and how many customers you have, but like you need to like stay focused on that. And I think this year we've come back to that, and I think it's been really really good for us. So, and as doing the breaks, I mean, when you buy in breaks, you can get skunked, you can do great. And actually, it's funny. I was talking to one of our breaker Bone. So, I don't know. I told him I was coming on this podcast, and he kind of laughed. He goes, "I remember one time." He goes, "Those guys bought like a big spot, right? And after the break, he's like, they didn't get anything. They got destroyed in the break. And I came to you, and I'm like, Tom, this is not good. These guys, this guy bought it. I haven't seen his name much, and
Probably me.
say it was like a player." Yeah, it's like a player break, right? I don't know if it's like Caglione or something like that. He's like, he didn't get anything. I'm like, well, who was it? And he said your name. I was like, you're good. but the thing I love about Bone is he came to me with genuine concern,
Yeah.
and that's what you would do with your friends too. And so we used to forever never do flawless, never do national. We didn't like it because we always felt bad. There's that risk reward, and
Right.
and we've really had to get out of our comfort zone because we do that stuff now, but it's more because people are asking, hey, we want this. We did a case of Gilded a couple weeks ago, right? It's one of their fastest selling breaks ever. And like one guy took like all the top spots, and I didn't even see that. I'm like, God, I hope he hits. And he hit a big Skeens card, so that was cool. But when you have that collecting friends, if friends is the front of your mind, then it just changes your behavior and how you do it. So
Well,
it's been an interesting growth process with that.
it's part of the
I got a little
reason.
sidetracked, but that's all right.
No,
No,
but that's
all
part
all
of the
good.
reason. It's part of the reason why I think your group is so cool is for that specifically, right? It's because you guys have a lot of you've grown the group and the clientele so well that exactly like if a guy doesn't hit, like yeah, I'm upset about it. What am I gonna do? Am I gonna yell at Tom because I didn't get a hit? You know that about for the most part about your customers or clientele, right? And that's what it should be, right? Because when people start bitching on whatnot and all these other breaking platforms that they didn't get a hit, they got skunked. I'm like, well, it is what it is. Like you know what you're getting into. Why are you bitching about it? You know what I mean? And that's why I think that your group is so good. Is because I've never seen people. There may be the here and there guys that do it, but I've never seen people really bash you guys for not getting a hit or skunking or anything. I've never seen that, and that
Yeah,
just goes to show what group you've grown.
yeah, and I think part of it is we try to never talk someone into buying a spot. That's another thing.
Right.
We don't want you to. If you're on the fence, sit it out. Just watch it. Um, we don't. When we first started Facebook, we never tagged people. That was the big thing. I
Yeah.
mean, how many groups did you leave because you're tagged all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was never tag anyone, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of worked against us because you get all the tag me on next one, tag me on next one, and we're just like we don't tag.
Yeah,
Our
I
app has
remember.
notifications. You can do that. Some people, you can turn those on if you want notifications just for baseball breaks. You can get that. If you want just UFC breaks, you can get that. But I think that's part of it is when I joined a break group a couple months ago on Facebook. I never heard of them. I love to buy in. I like to see how they break. I like to see how they ship, how fast they ship. You can always learn something,
Right.
good or bad.
Right.
And I joined the group, and the breaker, nonstop messaging me, "Hey, bro, who do you collect?" Oh, and I say Cubs. Oh man, we got a Cubs up right now. We got a mini for it. I was like, oh my lord, just chill, mother.
Badgering.
So
Yeah.
yeah, but it's just how you go about it. And I think too is like just be yourself. Like if you're a goofy guy that likes to sit around and swear all day, do that. That's fine. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So
Yeah, there's too much hype nowadays with the breaks on these apps of like nothing, just overhyping for the money. So you're telling me that you don't cancel breaks because an auction didn't go your way? Come on,
By the
man.
way-
That's part of the norm.
Tom, I'm gonna leave it here. I'm gonna leave it here. Bone, you owe me a super fractor auto, you guy.
he'll probably go buy you one. Like, oh, who does he like? Mets? Oh, I'll get him a Mets. Like,
Yeah, because they're cheap. That's why.
Oh,
yeah.
That's not true. Not true.
By the way, I hate. You know what, Kevin? You ever hear my Pete Alonso story? Why I hate Pete Alonso?
No.
This
Do
is.
I wanna hear it?
hate Pete Alonso.
Do I want to hear it?
So all right. So 2020, right before COVID, it was like the cheat. So it was a million card rip party that Topps had in Dallas. Okay, so it was on the Series One release on Wednesday. We got to do this party on Tuesday. I think that's right. But what? It doesn't really matter. I remember we watched the Chiefs win the Super Bowl with Shakira at halftime. We were in Kansas City
Good
and
one.
we saw it. Yeah, best halftime show ever. But sidetracked. So Michael Jackson has nothing on Shakira. So we start this million card rip party. So we drive down, okay, and they had the product there. And this time they're like, "Oh, you can get it, we want you guys to rip like 60 cases." You're like, 60 cases? Like, what are you talking about? So we drive down. It was actually my wife had a Suburban. We took her Suburban. We had like a team of like six of us, right? Six guys piling this, all drive down. And so we go through this about Ryan, the numbers guy. All right, we have to rip this many cases, this many hours. We have 3 stations going live, right? So this whole production, it was in the Cowboys, it was in the press box. It was awesome. There's probably like, I don't know, 20, 40 other breakers there. And they all had one table. Well, we had 3 tables. So we're like, and we were right next to all the Topps people, which is really important here. So we're getting ready to, and we got these, I'm like psyched out. I'm like, we have to rip the fastest we've ever ripped, the best we've ever ripped. We literally have the president of Topps sitting, like watching me break. Like, and I love baseball cards, like love it. So like, the first time I met anyone that, it could have been an intern at Topps, I was so nervous. I was like, oh my God, so David Leinert's like walking around and I've always wanted to meet him. I have a million cards that, it's his printed signature on the back. And so I meet him. So he's sitting right there watching me break and I'm like freaking out, right? So Pete Alonso's there as like the special guest. They do all these media shoots and things like that. So now we're starting the ripping cards. So I just start, Ryan's next to me and he's yelling at me. We're bantering back and forth. One of the guys from Topps went to unplug a lamp. He accidentally unplugged my computer.
Nice.
Right? So it's literally first case. And I don't know what to do. I can't yell at him, right? He's like, oh. So everyone else is watching on the Facebook stream on Ryan's, and he goes, Tom, doesn't he want to break? He's just giving it to me. He gave up already. It's first case. He can't handle the stage. And I'm, so we get it going. So by the time you get it rebooted, it's like 20 minutes later, right? Yeah. So I just get it started, and over my left shoulder, Pete Alonso, okay? And I heard a rumor that he was going to be there, so I went and bought a bunch of Pete Alonso 8x10s, and then I bought home run derby baseballs. I could care less about personally having a Pete Alonso auto, and honestly, if you sent me one now, I'd just throw it in the trash after this. So he goes, hey, you want to get a picture? Or here's a card. He gave you a card. He signed. Great. I said, hey Pete, do you mind signing these baseballs? But he has nowhere to go. He's been here. He's just chit chatting. And his handler's like, no autographs. And I was like, oh my God. And so he's standing like a foot behind me, and they're like, oh, do you want to take your picture with him? Mind you, every single person there took a picture with him. I go, nah, I'm good. I knocked it down, like, thanks for coming. And I just start ripping cards.
That's great.
I'm good. I'm good. And for some reason, I knocked the table. I'm like, I'm good. And then I just kept ripping. And, you're watching the camera. We had like a side camera, and I'm watching it. Pete Alonso just stood behind me, like just in shock, like, what? This guy, Miles, that works for us, he brought along, helping people like sort and And so then Miles just started talking to him. Miles talked to him for like a half hour. And then, then we like trade off. He goes, "Oh, you should go talk to Pete Alonso." I'm like, forget that guy.
I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good.
How great would it have been if he was the one who pulled the plug?
Oh my God.
Yeah, well, Pete Alonso gets a reputation for being such a people person. I don't think he did anything wrong there, but the fact that he didn't want to sign your stuff, and they're like, nope, don't want it anymore.
But to be fair, it was like his handler that told me no. It wasn't him, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure he's a great person.
Sour taste.
And it was a couple years after that, probably 22 or 23, not even that long ago. One of the marketing ladies from Top, so you get to know them. And one of the things we did is like they have those transcendent parties. And this is a Ryan idea. It's a brilliant idea. When we were starting to grow, we bought tickets and went to all of those because all the head people at Tops are there and they're hanging out. So you could have a good personal, half hour conversation with these people, and all it cost was a ticket to the party. It was genius. And that helps us grow a ton with Tops.
No,
So we're at one of these parties, and I'm talking to this lady, and she goes, "Tom, there's a lot of us. We just need to ask you a question. Don't take offense to it." She goes, "Why were you such a jerk to Pete Alonso?" And she's like, "All these people say how nice of a guy you are, but like, we just thought you were the biggest jerk in the world because you wouldn't take a picture with Pete Alonso."
You know what we have to do now, right? We have to
Get a
lobby.
picture?
No, we have to lobby to get Pete Alonso at Hobby Rip Night at one of the stores.
Oh my God! But there's a brand manager, Jeremy Fullerton. He's one of the head ones, Tops. Like he loves Pete Alonso. He's like, as long as I'm at Tops, Pete Alonso. And so we banter quite a bit. And I'll get a text from him. When he hit a homer the other day, get a text from him. Like, oh, here we go, Pete Alonso. But he's a great player. But yeah, so that's my that's why I don't like players.
You know me, I'm a Mets fan. I'm a huge Pete Alonso guy. So
I know. I don't blame you, but yeah.
Listen, if you have any Pete Alonso stuff that you want to get rid of, send them my way. It's all good.
I probably still have those stupid baseballs that he didn't sign. I'll send you some of those. No, you know what? Actually, there's some high school kids in our area. They're playing catch last fall, and one of the ball went in our yard, and it was bad. And so I went and I gave them some home run derby baseball, like brand new pearls. I'm like, here, use these. These are garbage.
Nice.
And also the next time you have to rip 60 or 100 cases of Series 1 or Bowman, just give Bruno a shout. He'll help you out with that.
Yeah, help with that. Man, I'll tell you what, if you rip that Heritage High number, those packs, oh.
Kevin used to make me, for some reason, on these series and Update and Alan Ginter, Gypsy Queen, all those, for some reason, Kevin got busy those nights. I never ripped baseball, but on those nights, I had to rip baseball.
For all the
I hated my life.
For all the Bowman I had to do. I was like, this guy got to do some baseball stuff. Bowman drafts and Bowman baseball, that stuff is brutal, man. Like, a lot of cards.
Yeah. Well, now they have the Breaker Delight.
Yeah.
Version.
I wish they had it in 2017.
Yeah, no kidding. So I was on a call with Tops, and I referred to Breaker Delight as Lazy Breaker. And like there's a breaker on there that literally got offended. I was like, get out of here. Like
they don't know any better.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, it's Lazy Breaker product.
They don't know the grind.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But, we did not this Friday, the Friday before, a 3-case pick your player break of Heritage High number.
Oh.
I mean, you got to have a pack ripper in the room with you, opening packs. And still with that, I mean, that's a 4 to 5 hour. Yeah, it's all. And then our sorters, God bless them on that one.
I've been in plenty of 5-case breaks with you guys, and it's God bless whoever sorts that. And I've done it mostly with like Emil and I think who's the other guy? Titus. And man, like I feel bad because I'm not like watching it through the break because I trust you guys, so I wait till the end and I'll watch the recap, and I'm like, this is good enough for me.
Well, we did that in the 3-case of Heritage High number. We went on a family road trip, and we overnight drove it, and my son was driving, I was watching, and it was like 2 a.m, and I'm, Bone was breaking, and then we had a guy there ripping packs, and I typed in the chat, I'm like, man, where is everyone at? And Bone's like, there ain't no one watching this.
No. No, honestly, man, like you know, especially when I was breaking, I would be like, damn, like nobody's watching, like what the heck? And then people would text me afterwards, be like, oh, what did I hit? Or oh, thanks for this. I'm like, oh, but you weren't
Yeah.
watching. Like, I'm
You
always
got to
like,
put
hey,
it
hey, if you're watching, say what's up or whatever. Nobody says what's up.
Mhm.
put
I
a
would do-
disclaimer on those breaks and say no recap on this one.
No, yeah.
And no recap.
Well, but you know what's funny? I talked to our breakers, and I said the recap is your most important thing
It
because
is.
that's what people watch.
Agreed.
You know, I mean, I go through all the time and just watch break recaps just 'cause I want to see.
Yeah.
And if there's a really cool card, then I'll find it being hit. But I said never, ever, ever slouch on your recap. I don't care how tired you are. Pull it together for the recap. It's a big
Yeah.
deal.
Recap's
And
important.
read the players' names, you know,
Yeah.
and be, you know, yeah. So, yeah, recaps are saviors in those player breaks. But
Well, like with people that I trust, I just watch the recap. But if I'm getting into a new guy's break, I'm like, I'm watching this whole thing. I won't say a word to you, but I'm watching.
we had a guy last summer. He's like, it's a scam, and he was local. And I said, we have a window. I'll give you a stool. And he came. He watched the whole break like this,
Oh
like
my
staring.
God.
Are you serious?
And I'm like, then he actually buys in quite a bit now. He doesn't watch anymore. And afterwards, he's like, and it was like a tier 1 break, right? And he actually, I remember he got Brewers. He got like a Robin Yount back card or something. He goes, well, how long till I get my card? Afterwards, I'm like, here you go. But
Skip the sort.
yeah, let's go. But yeah, it's I mean, what you tell people, you're dealing with something, and we all have that card, and it's like our favorite thing or what thing we talk to our friends about, and you got to treat it like that. It's sometimes, you know, we like, oh, who cares, but it can mean a lot to people for different reasons. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
people
fun
are
hobby.
That's true.
We're spending their cold hard cash on it, right? So
Yeah,
got to be a little
yeah,
cognizant of that.
yeah, yeah. And you have to respect it. They don't have. I mean, we're not selling eggs and milk here. You know,
You
we're
got some
selling
eggs-
stuff
you got
that
some
people
eggs you want to
choose.
sell? I heard there's a big market for it.
Well, around here, we don't buy it at the store. Everyone just buys it from local farmers. So, like, you know, I heard all this egg crisis. I'm like, my wife, I deal with one thing in our world, and it's sports cards. So I don't know about anything else in life. So
How'd
Fair
you
enough.
get away with that?
yeah. I told my daughters I was going to be on this, and they're like, "What are you going to talk about?" It's like, and I'm like, baseball cards. Like, well, you'll do fine. I go, what does that mean? They're like, well, if it was like anything cool or anything like that, you'd be terrible at it.
This is why
Like,
we
thanks,
thought
girls.
You were, this is why we
Damn.
thought you were perfect for this podcast.
Yeah, right.
Is there anything we wanna get off the table here with topics? Or I know we're
I mean, we're talking a lot about baseball. I mean, I'm not a big baseball guy anyway, but I have been hearing about these torpedo bats with the Yankees.
It's because the Brewer. It's more the Brewers pitchers were just grooving it to them.
Yeah, the Brewers pitchers suck. The torpedo backs thing is gone. There's no more talk on that.
Yeah, so they're not hitting homers anymore?
No, the Yankees just lost again today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not that big of a deal. It was really
Brewers.
the
Brewers
pitchers.
suck. What are you
Yeah,
gonna do?
the Brewers. They do. I don't want to name. I don't feel like a name drop here. So I worked in minor league baseball before I worked in the school districts. And let me years straight. 2000 and 2001, I worked in Arizona for the A's at their spring training. I was on the grounds crew. I rented a house from a guy. He's still the head groundskeeper there, but he had 2 spare bedrooms. Me and a kid named Nick, the other kid. Well, Nick ended up getting an intern with the A's and then a job at the Reds. He's still with the Reds. He's the president of their baseball operations, Nick Kroll.
Oh no, shit.
And I
Wow.
had breakfast with them in Milwaukee. So they were in Milwaukee. So on Saturday morning, I brought my son down. We had like a nice 3-hour breakfast talking about everything sports. We talked about torpedo bats for quite a while. And he's like, they're just bats. He's like, it's, look at all the homers that they hit. They were like 89 miles per hour fastball right down the middle. Like any major league hitter is going to hit it. But, yeah, but he said also too, hitting is so psychological. You think that you have something up there that's going to give you an advantage. Just thinking that gives you an advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you know, he kind of is like, oh, whatever, But the company made a ton of money because people are, all the Facebook ads I see now are all buy your kid a torpedo bat,
Do you
right?
want to
So
hit like Aaron Judge?
Well, the
Judge
funny
didn't
thing
even
is
use a torpedo
that you
bat;
didn't
he had
even
a
use
regular
one. Yeah,
bat.
didn't even
But no,
use
but
one.
yeah, that's what people are like. Oh, look at Judge with those new bats. I'm like, it's the same bat. So, but one I saw one manager said it's the magician, not the wand.
Yeah,
So,
this
but
is true. Yeah, the
yeah,
torpedo bat thing, I was always like, this is gonna die out soon, and it did. It did.
yeah,
Once the Yankees went a couple of games without hitting homers, that's what happened. But
Yeah. All
what
right,
else do
because
we have?
yeah, it was going crazy. I mean, Portnoy went nuts on that
Well,
stuff.
that was all a rib. That was all a rib. That was all a rib. He did that because he's a Red Sox fan, and he just wanted to get a rise out of people.
Yeah, he does that. It's pretty
yeah.
funny, but yeah,
I
so
love
that's
him.
cool.
He's
He's great.
fantastic.
He's great.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's great.
Just says whatever's on his mind, and he goes above and beyond with it, and it's just fantastic. And people always take it to heart, and it's never supposed to be that way. If you don't get what he's doing, that's another thing. You don't get what he's doing, then forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's funny.
And what he's about, too.
Yeah,
What else
so
we
that's
got?
cool. Whatever
I
you
saw
want to
your,
talk about.
The Travis Hunter thing. That's a big deal.
That's a huge deal.
That
He's
sucks.
What?
I'm a Tops guy.
Okay, yes,
Long
I
term,
can see
no,
that.
he's right.
But
Long term sucks, yeah.
It
Yes.
does suck.
Right
It
now,
sucks.
it's good.
Yes.
But long term,
It's
it
good
sucks.
for 1 year.
Just like Arch. Same thing.
Archie,
Yeah. How many year deal was it?
I can pull that up.
Yeah.
I had
The people that
that.
don't know, so Travis Hunter signed an exclusive with Panini, and it's like a bizarre arms race for autographs and products.
But I will tell you what, good for Panini.
Yeah,
Because you know what? That's what they have to do to be able to stay in front of it. And listen, it is for me. It is what it is. Whoever can sign them, sign them, right? And it's good for Panini because you know what? This is what they have to do to stay in front of this whole Topps situation, right? Because Topps has the licenses and everything, and they have to try. They have to try,
Yep.
and something like this is gonna help them. And same thing will happen with Wembanyama, right? Nobody can get any Wembanyama rookie
Autographs.
auto pro uniform product, right?
Yep.
It's the same exact thing. So it is what it is. Well, it's a little bit different because he's not gonna have pro uni stuff in Panini anyway. But it's the only autograph you can get. So
Yeah.
it sucks for collectors because we like to collect that stuff, especially in pro unis. But for Panini, good for them. They
But the
got ahead of it.
the 2023 class is where Panini really felt it the hardest in football.
yeah.
Right.
When you had all those quarterbacks that signed with Fanatics, that's when they really felt it. So I'm actually surprised that Panini got a hold of Travis before Fanatics did. But it might also turn into a whole Marvin Harrison Jr. thing where it's like he has amnesia now. All of a sudden, he doesn't remember signing this. So
I don't know. I mean, he did come out, and Travis Hunter did come out and say like he's excited about the deal because he collects Panini cards.
Mhm.
So, he's familiar with it. So it could be that connection for him, but I don't see the length of the contract or the deal. So I'm not sure those details came out yet. But I agree. It's bad for Topps, but it's true. Panini has to do what they have to do right now. They are competing with Topps. Topps is going to win them all eventually, so they have to do what they have to do. They have to go early. That's why the NILs are a big deal because Panini has been hitting hard with NILs too. So they're trying to really pick up on these younger players early on to see if they could get some of that into their product by the time they go pro. So, they got to do what they got to do.
And even if it was just to stick it to Fanatics, checkmate.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting with Panini how they've made really good baseball products.
Yes.
I mean, that was it 3-2 2. That was
Yep.
great.
I thought it was too.
You can't get it as a break. Like, we'd love to break that now. You can't get it.
Well,
Select Baseball comes out this Wednesday, and
that's a good one.
we'll crush it with that. But I'm a Topps guy more so because of our relationship with Topps and our access to products with Topps.
Right.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
totally understandable.
Hey, it's a battle, right? Everybody has to do what they have to do, and it's going to be it's a battleground now going forward, right? Because Panini has to do what they have to do, Topps does what they have to do, and we'll see who Topps is going to come out on top regardless.
Yeah.
Right? 'Cause Topps has a license and all that, and I love Topps product. I'm a big Bowman guy. That's all I collect is Bowman. And
So here's a
Panini
question.
had
You want to talk
-5.
Topps football? Back in the day, did you feel that when Topps used to have the license that Finest was a more desirable brand than Topps Chrome
For football,
for football?
I was always more about
Chrome.
quantity for some reason, especially when funds weren't as high as younger growing up. So for me, it was always Chrome, even paper tops for that matter.
Okay.
When it came to that,
Yeah,
It's just interesting how Finest football is much better than Topps Chrome and much hotter than
Yeah.
Topps Chrome is this year.
that's what I was
It's
gonna
probably
say.
because of the sets and the subsets because they just look cooler. I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's probably that, and it just appeals more to, especially to the younger folks.
Yeah.
I
Then
also
Inception.
Yeah, I like
That-
Inception. I think Topps Finest. Are they going to bring back that whole what they used to do back in the day with the those what's that called? So the
The coating?
Finest had that what's that called?
you're not talking about the coding, are
The
you?
coating, yeah.
No,
Are they going to
'cause-
do that again or no?
No, because the last couple of years of Topps Finest didn't have that.
Oh, okay.
I
But
remember
those-
ripping
those-
2010, 2011, and the coding was already long gone.
Yeah, but the stuff with the coating seems to have a lot more value, from that era. The stuff with the coating seems to have so much value, which I don't. I mean, I get it. It's coated again, I guess. It's like a laminate over the laminate, but it just seems to have a higher draw for some reason. But whatever.
I think it's mostly because that layer does normally get easily scratched.
Yeah,
So the fact, especially if you're grading with coating and it comes Surface 10, it's just a higher demand for that.
yeah.
But
This is really rare.
Yeah, when did they stop?
96, 97, something like that.
No,
Maybe
because
later?
99 still had it.
99 had it.
99 still had it. 96 had it. That's because I have some of those. I want to say it was maybe in the 2000s
Yeah.
when they stopped doing the coding.
But I don't know. I'm excited for Topps Chrome football with logos.
With the
man.
logos.
Yeah.
I'm
the
really
branding.
excited for that.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
Yeah.
It just looks
Amen.
so good. It just looks so
As soon
good.
as that starts happening, even with the basketball I think is going to be big too. But once you start seeing those brands on there, oof, they're going to
Yeah.
look so good. The on-card autos, come on. Come on.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
gonna be
this fall-
fantastic.
It starts this fall with basketball, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
and they got all the guys that grew Panini basketball, the designers, they all work for Topps now.
Oh,
So
do they really?
Oh, there
Yeah.
you go.
That was one of the big lawsuits a year or so ago. Yeah, it's weird when you go to these.
I remember.
If you go to the National, it's really, and I didn't realize this until you get to know these guys. At the Topps booth, these guys that design the cards, they're just hanging out at the National. They all just you can talk to these guys that are in charge of the basketball brand, and they're just I think they have to be there almost. And they'll always talk. They're very, very nice guys, and you'll have a good conversation, and they'll be interested because. And then I find myself this too. You just stop talking, if there's too many people around, especially there when everyone's filming, trying to get a clip. But yeah, I asked one of them, and I said, what do you think about when you are walking around and you see cases upon cases, $10,000, $20,000, and he goes, it's a lot to take in because he's like, I designed that card on a computer, and now someone's buying it for more than
Yeah.
cost my car. It's humbling. I think is his word. It's just what an honor that is that people are valuing their work that much. But
Yeah, and they don't get
yeah,
they don't get a dime out of it, right?
I think,
Of course.
They get their
So
salary.
they got paid for it already, I guess, right?
yeah. They don't get
I mean, you get
commission. I
paid.
mean, that's their job. That's their job. What a fun job too. So
Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty
yeah,
cool.
no, but yeah. So I always tell people at national. What people say, what's the best part of the national? To me, it's meeting up with friends, talking to people, but then also as a collector and a fan, just going to the Tops, the Panini, the Upper Deck booth, and just having conversations with the people that work there, and just like, what do you do for a living? And I met some pretty neat people just with random questions like that. But
yeah, that's cool.
yeah,
Man.
it's fun.
Yeah, I can't wait for the national.
Are
Love
you guys
it.
doing a Fanatics Fest? It's in your backyard.
No,
Bruno?
I mean, I did it last time.
Um,
Bruno doesn't like New York, so
I
he
hate
won't
New
go.
York.
What?
I hate New York. So anytime there's something in New York, I'm out. That's an automatic.
I did it
We
last.
should come
they
to
went-
Wisconsin. There's no one here.
I'll do that. But they went last year.
Yeah, I went last year. It was good. It was really good.
It's cool.
Stuff has come up for me where I can't really do it this year, but it's definitely a good show to go to. I saw you there. Yeah, we were talking. For a
Yep.
while.
Yeah. We had a booth there selling singles. Singles. I mean, our store has singles. It's not our bread and butter.
Yeah.
So this year we're going to set up more with our app and promoting the app. And to be honest, the best part of those shows is someone comes up to you, you have no idea who they are, and they're like, "Hey man, it's and they'll say their username or say their Facebook name, and you're like, "Oh my god, I've known you for 5 years," and that's the best part.
Yeah.
It's the best part of those shows. So.
Yeah. No, for
Yeah,
sure.
that'll be fun.
Yeah, that's
We have a, I don't know if I should talk about it. We have a really cool summer promotion we're going to do. If you guys remember last year, we did that Olympic Games. We had these every day, every break, you could win a medal and things. So we're calling it a summer road trip, and it's starting in Fanatics Fest. And then every day we'll have different breaks and different prizes corresponding with like a different city along a road trip.
great.
That's
And then
cool.
we're going to do meetups, in different cities.
Oh,
So we'll
that's
have like
cool.
published meetup like in a minor league game, or either I'll go out there, or Ryan or Aim will go out and hang out. So
Cool.
That's
I'm
cool.
really looking forward to this summer. It's gonna, and that gets back to that we talked about collecting friends and just how do you have fun with this. But
Yeah.
the kickoff's Fanatics Fest for us. But
No, it's a great idea. That's awesome.
It's
If you're-
awesome.
yeah,
If you're doing anything around here, I'll reach out to you on the side. But
yeah.
that's
Come
awesome.
out for the draft. NFL draft's in a couple of weeks up here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
25th or 20, what is it, 20 something?
Yeah, I told my son I'll take him out of school. We'll go up on Thursday. Check it out.
Yeah, man.
That's great.
Why not?
Yeah,
not?
dude.
My Bears
Yeah, it
got
doesn't
the
happen
10th
all the
pick.
time. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a lot
exciting.
of the schools in the Green Bay area they have no school Thursday and Friday.
Is that on
Really?
purpose?
It's different here. Like
we don't get that lucky. It's just
Yeah.
we're in too big, too broad of an area.
yeah,
Even when I went for Philly for the parade, same thing. Nobody was working. There was no school.
The heck?
Yeah. yeah.
But
There's
it's like-
a small. Yeah,
But
There's
what I
a
was
small-
going to say, like you live in like Central Jersey. The Yankees win the World Series. They're not shutting anything down.
No.
no, no. I mean, we shut down for hunting season.
That's
But-
great. We're living in the wrong area.
Yes.
But you know what though, people. Here you go. I used to tell people from New York. They always say it's so expensive to go to a Packer game, right? It's not. It's really, really not. And when you look at tickets online, maybe like 6-8 weeks before, they're pretty expensive, right? Well, it's because people like you guys that's when you're planning your trip.
Yeah.
What do you
Okay.
mean, you guys, Tom?
You guys
What do you
that
mean,
don't
you
live
guys?
here. You non-Wisconsiners, right? You guys, right?
You guys.
But we also don't help the fact that like you can't go to a Ranger game and bring like your family for
Yeah.
a decent price.
Yeah.
Anything at MSG is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like even for us.
Yeah.
And who goes there? Business people,
Business
businessmen
people, yeah.
from the city.
Yeah. Well, when you go to Milwaukee this year, you'll find the biggest, the most popular brewer is Bob Euchre, right?
Yeah.
and so this year it's such a people. He had lived a great life and gave it all to the city of Milwaukee. And I mean, you want to get punched in Milwaukee? Say something bad about Euchre. You'll get destroyed. Besides that, you're fine. But we're saying so Packer games.
I thought he was a Cleveland Indians fan.
No, it's just the movie Major League.
Major League.
That movie is filmed. That movie is filmed in Milwaukee. It's
Which
like
is
Old
crazy,
County
right?
Stadium.
Which is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, I did not until I moved up here. I did not realize how big of a deal he is here. I mean, it's unbelievable, right? And now, now when he's passed, it's sad. Anyone becomes bigger, larger in life when they pass. I mean, I don't know how he could have been bigger for that. And everyone has great stories about him. I mean, um, but go back to the Packers. So, like the day before the game, you could get tickets for face value because
Mhm.
this is so small here. I mean, Green Bay is what 100,000 people,
Yeah.
right? Like the city is tiny, and so I could go on Facebook on a Friday before a game and just post, "Hey, looking for two tickets to the Packer game. Does anyone have it?" Easily, someone would get it. And also people feel bad about charging you too much. So you could say, if the face value is 150, and they're like, "Oh, I just can't do it. I can't charge you more than I paid." Like that's just how people are here. And
Yeah.
I mean, I hate the Packers as a team. I absolutely hate them. And like in our football breaks, I refuse to use the word Green Bay or Packers. I'll say green and gold or GB, and I won't say the players' names either. I'll say their numbers, and I'll slip once in a while, and then people would catch me. But so anyway,
Not even in the recap. You're not going to say their names.
No, that's that's what people watch. No way. Yeah, like and I won't put them on the showcase. We have a little showcase. No, never.
That's great.
I put like bare base cards in over it. I remember one time we had an Aaron Rodgers autograph, and I saw the stack, and I saw a Jay Cutler base card coming up. Right, so a Rodgers autograph is a pretty big deal. Put it in a top loader. Oh, number 12 for green and gold. I put it right in the middle of the showcase. Got to the Cutler base card, put it right over the top.
So doesn't have to stare at you.
That's so good.
Hey, Tom. So we're coming up on the end of our podcast here, I think, right, Bruno? We're getting close.
Yeah.
So I want to leave you with this, and you're not going to like me for it. So do you know
That's classic New Jersey, by the way. You're not gonna like this.
Do you know what Bob Euchre's last home run call was?
Yeah, it's Pete Alonso.
Pete Alonso to beat the Brewers. How
Game. I've never had a stadium go so loud to so quiet so fast.
dude?
That was
His last home run call was Pete Alonso, the guy you hate.
Yep.
That's
I
crazy.
told my buddy,
I'm sorry, dude. I love you,
and
man.
I like the Brewers, but the Brewers win or lose, it makes no difference in my life. And I told my buddy it's a psychotic Brewer fan. We had really, really good seats. We were like 10 rows back from the first base dugout. I got them from a friend. I go, this guy hits a homer here. This place is going to die. Boom, gone. The only thing you could hear was random Mets fans cheering. And I think we sat by some Mets fans. He's like, I honestly feel bad for these people here. Because it's like a 2-game series. And he's like, we've been here all week and people have been so nice to us. And they're literally sobbing. That's all it was. They're just crying. I'm like, oh my Lord.
Yeah, you got to feel bad. I mean, it was,
Yeah.
I mean, I felt great. The home run was great. But yeah,
It barely went over the outfield. It just barely went over right field. It went.
I would just say that the Brewers are like the last team that we would be like, F the Brewers right now.
Yeah.
We don't. We have
That you
no.
want to beat up
We don't
on.
hate the
Yeah.
Brewers. It just it happened, and I
Yeah.
love Bob Uecker. Bob Uecker is one of my favorite. You can say, dude, his performance in both major league movies, incredible.
Yep.
He was so good. And
Whenever you guys have a chance, look up just YouTube Norm Macdonald, Bob Euchre stories.
yeah,
He tells some pretty good ones about it.
Bob Uecker was he's just, and his Hall of Fame speech, terrific. Like
Oh,
one of the
hilarious.
best Hall of Fame speeches of all time. He's such a like genuine, like funny guy. Like he was so good, and it sucks, But
Well, they have the
his
statue.
last home run call was Pete Alonso's homer
Pete
against
Alonso.
the Brewers, so we'll just keep that
Yeah.
here.
The statue of Uke is pretty cool outside of Miller Park
Oh, they
or
built it
American
already, or it
Family.
was already there
Oh yeah, yeah, it's been up for years.
for
Yeah,
years? Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, yeah. And then when he passed, tons of people brought flowers. But the main thing you would bring was Miller Lite, right? 'Cause he
Yep,
was a Miller Lite guy.
yep. Miller
Well, it
Lite
was
guy.
so cold, they had this problem because all the beers, like the cans and bottles, were like bursting, and it was a big mess. But I guess they let people hang out and drink. Like I heard, I didn't go. I almost went, but I mean it was like zero, 10 degree, -10 degrees, terrible. But apparently, and the cops came, not like in a bad way, but just to make sure people are all right. And they had temporary lights brought in, and people sat and hung out there literally 24 hours a day, grilling and drinking beer
Nice.
for
Wow,
morning euchre. And
That's cool. That's
it's
really
just that's Wisconsin, man. It's a
that's
beautiful
cool.
place, but
that's
yeah,
Wow.
it's a fun place. In summer, Badger football's a lot of fun. I'm a big Badger fan. Packer games are fun to go to. But yeah, just avoid January, February, March is terrible. So, but besides that, it's a great place to live. Good place to raise a family. So,
Nice.
yeah,
I'm,
and being a
I'm look,
breaker, I mean, we can do it anywhere. So, might as well do it somewhere you like.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's really true.
I'm
Exactly.
man.
looking forward to visiting Memorial Day.
Yeah, we
You
gotta
know,
we
I'm
gotta
gonna do
make
my
our way
best
up
to make
there.
it. Yeah.
Gotta make
Yeah,
our
hit
way
me
up.
up. I think we're around. I hope we're not going anywhere. So,
Hopefully
yeah,
not.
I don't know. I don't like to try. Just stay home with the kids. I'll do that. How about that? So,
Tom, we appreciate you jumping on with us, man. The stories were awesome.
yeah.
Especially
Thanks for
Hey,
having me. It was fun.
what's the you started a foundation, right?
We didn't start a foundation. Are you talking about the law we had passed? That?
Oh, that's what it was. I thought you had a yeah, I thought you had a group.
Yeah. We looked at starting a foundation. I didn't know if that was, it just wasn't right for us. A lot of times, foundations, if you get a celebrity, that can get it,
Yeah.
because foundation's all about raising money. So,
right.
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, if you want a quick, I'll try to make it quick. So, when our son was born, Malik, he had the big heart issue. And I said earlier, he was born in November 2nd. January 25th, he had surgery on his heart. And going into it, after he was born, we thought the surgery would be quote unquote routine, a pretty high survival rate. He basically did not, you have like a four chambers in your heart, two walls. He did not have those walls, but he had nubs where the walls should have formed, which is very, very common for children with Down syndrome. Very common defect. However, his vertical ones were not 50-50 centered. They were off centered. And that's insanely rare. Really, really rare. So, maybe like 5 days or so before the surgery, he's failing really bad, really, really bad, and not really awake at all, just because he's not getting oxygen. So we're sitting with these doctors and nurses and going over scenarios. So they gave us three options. The first option was to do nothing, and he would die in a couple weeks. Okay. The second option, and obviously that wasn't really an option, but the second option was one that some of the people in the room recommended we do, and it was to make his heart one big chamber, and he would live to be about 8 to 10 years old. Now, put in context, he's almost 9 now. So, and then at that point, he would be in heart failure and he would pass. The third option was to go for broke, go for the surgery, and they didn't give us a percentage of what he would make it or not, but they made it very, very well known that it would be really tough for him to make it. Okay. And so that's what we did. And it was a really complicated surgery. There was some things that didn't go well, but in the end, it worked, right? But in that meeting, I just asked, I'm like, what about a transplant, right? Like, wouldn't that make sense with these? And they're like, he's not eligible. And I thought maybe like his body wouldn't take it, or why not? They're like, no, because he has Down syndrome, he's ineligible for an organ transplant.
Wow.
And I thought that was crazy. Like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
again, I'll go back to the line. The only thing I know about in life is sports cards. I don't know about disability act. I don't know about any of this stuff. But I'm like, this is messed up. So I just said, I'm like, well, what do you got to do to get through this? Someone need to call? Do we need to pay something? And she goes, really, is a nurse in the back. And I remember, and I don't think she meant to be snotty, but I took it really snotty, was, well, you got to change the law. Well, I knew we didn't have time to change the law at that point. So we had the surgery. It worked. And then, so that was 2017. There's a lot to process, a lot. And so then about 2019, we moved here. We're in that apartment, and my wife and I took it on. Like, who do we got to contact? Like, I don't know. I'm not I actually enjoy politics, but I think both sides are messed up, right? Like, I don't have any sides. So I contacted our state rep and our state senator, and I talked to our state rep's office, and they're like, "No way!" Like, and the lady's like, "I don't think that's right." What? Yeah, this is what I was told. The next day, she called me because you're right. And so then COVID happened, right? The whole everything shut down, blah blah blah. So then the end of 2020, we reconvened with our senator, and then or our state rep, and then we actually had a new senator, and that senator happened to have a daughter with Down syndrome, or has it? She still does, obviously. And he's like, "Yeah, I knew about the law, but I didn't really know." Like, I was like, "What are you like? Take this on." And so we took it on, and so 21, we did a lot of speaking to like groups, but then also a ton of writing of letters to state senators and state reps, and then we had to speak in front of like committee on health. There's like a senate and a rep. They call it in Wisconsin. You have senate and assembly. So on both of those, we spoke on that, and then it passed, but it did not pass unanimous. There was people that voted against it. So I think it's kind of messed up. And the whole idea is the reason to vote against it would basically say a person with Down syndrome, and this is their words, not mine, would not have a high enough quality of life. So someone else should get that heart. Now, at the time in Wisconsin at this hospital, it's a 5-day wait list. So we're not talking like remember like when Walter Payton, he needed a liver transplant, but the wait list is crazy, crazy long. There's 5-day wait list, the average wait list. So like pediatric hearts were readily available. So yeah, so this whole quality of life thing. And so you want to make promises to your kids. I'm like, my wife and I promised our son will have the best damn quality of life you've ever seen any kid have. So like when we go to Disney World, we're always like, oh, this life kind of sucks, doesn't it? And things like that. But yeah, so we passed it, or it passed. The governor signed into law December of 21. Wisconsin Act. Oh, I can't even remember the act number now, but we call it Malix's law. His name's Malix. So yeah,
It's amazing.
But we've done some speeches on that about it. And you found yourself all of a sudden you're a disability advocate. Never really thought I would have that on my resume, but we've done some more locally stuff. And I'm not afraid to challenge people with that. And one thing that our senator actually he brought up, he goes, "You're a loose cannon, Tom, because you don't care. You don't work for a company that's going to look bad about you because you speak up all the time. You don't depend on, I mean, we have a local card shop. It's less than 1% of our revenue is done in our local shop with the online breaks. This story actually could benefit your company. You do something great and I don't, and so you're not afraid." And he goes, "There's so many people in this world that are afraid to speak up for others that can't, because they think they're going to look down at work as like a troublemaker or someone, and I thought that was really interesting. And so I've taken that badge on. If it's our own kids, or I've spoken up in meetings for others who think it's wrong. And I don't want to say without care, because I care a lot, but without care of ramifications,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's been interesting. So I mean, he's only 8, and today was a rough day. Not gonna lie to you. Having a child with disability, it can be great. It can be easy. It can be really, really hard. But it's like any kid.
Yeah.
What 8-year-old doesn't have a bad day? So.
Oh yeah.
But,
I have
he's a
one.
lot of fun. So. But
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
It's
How old are yours? Yeah.
I have, well, mine's about to, my daughter's about to turn 8, and my
Okay.
son's about to turn 12, and it's like a bad day every day.
It's just funny, and Malice gets away with it because like he has like a little speech impediment, and he'll like tell somebody, he goes, "You like we'll be out somewhere and people are rude to him." He goes, "You rude to me."
Hey,
Oh, you're wrong.
exactly.
where does he get the loose cannon
Yeah, no
attitude from?
That's great.
He'll call, now his thing is to call people a rat. You rat.
That's great.
But
Kids are
yeah,
fantastic.
the daily adventures of him in our life, it's made us great, you know. And I mean, the truth is, if Malix did not have a heart defect, did not have Down syndrome, I'd I wouldn't be talking to you here. I'd be the buildings and grounds director for a school district to be happy, and you know, but not finding myself in interesting situations. But I wouldn't give it up for the world. Wouldn't give it
Yeah.
up. So
Yeah, things work out the way they're supposed to work out.
yeah, wildlife, isn't it? So,
It's crazy.
but yeah, so you know, and a lot of times when I do things like this, I'll have random parents reach out because it's hard, man. You know, you think you're kind of alone. You know, going back to baseball, Jake Berger, the Rangers, he changed his number to 21. So he has Penelope, his daughter, happens to have Down syndrome.
Yeah.
That's a big deal in our little world, our community. So I should have wore. I have a jersey of him. I should have wore it today for, but yeah, it's it's an interesting ride.
No, man,
But
this is awesome, and you know we'll try to spread the word as best as we can as well. You know, with
yeah,
our little platform here, you know, we're trying to, you know, talk sports and also but talk about real life stuff, and you know that's kind of why we started the podcast, more as like you know let's talk about sports, talk about guy stuff, let's talk about things in the real world that really matter. You know, so
yeah,
having you on and talking about this stuff really does make a big deal, and we'll try to spread the word as best as we can.
yeah.
And you know that's
You know,
all.
people always say, "What do I do?" Friends like they're like, "Real talk, Tom. If I see a person or a doll with Down syndrome, what do I do?" Like, and that's what do you say? I said, honestly, just give them Nux, boom, and that's it. You know, we go somewhere and Malix is kind of doing his thing. When someone gives him Nux, it changes everything. That's
Yeah,
all. That's all. It's like,
it makes everybody's day better.
yeah, yeah. Just do it to everyone. Who cares?
No,
That's
all.
awesome.
That's all. But we
Thank you very
we
much.
appreciate you, Tom.
Yes,
Yeah.
Tom, thank you.
Thanks
Yeah.
for having us. This was fun.
We're gonna plug Real Sports Cards on this because you know you guys deserve it. You guys are great, and
Yeah.
you know anytime you want to come back on, shoot out to us, or maybe I'll
Yeah.
reach back out to you in a couple of months and be like, "Yo, you want to get
Yeah.
another one?"
Love it. Love
And
it.
we can shoot the stuff and whatever. Just talk about whatever we want because that's what we have. That's all we can
Yep.
do. Talk about whatever we want. So
All
Yeah,
right,
this
boys.
was great. Appreciate it. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much,
Thank you.
Tom.
appreciate you. And
Thanks,
Alex,
boys. Have a great night.
Alex, you're the man, brother. You're the man.
Yeah.
He better be
Knock.
sleeping.
Knock.
Yeah, good
Knock.
enough. All right, boys. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
See you later.